Just waking up. It's not even 8 a.m. here in Italy, but I wanted to do a kind of emergency stream for breaking news, because if you're not hearing about what Zoom's terms and conditions say, I want to make sure that you know about it, and I want to make sure we're talking about it. I am not a lawyer, but we're going to take a look at their terms and conditions, and we're going to see if we can figure out what they mean, because Zoom announced a couple of strange things. Let me close a couple of windows here. First of all, they announced a return to office. Everyone is going to have to go back to the office at the company that was best known for helping everybody not work from the office. And so that seems very strange to a lot of people. Some are badly against that. Some are super for it. It's very polarizing right now, but it's certainly strange out of all companies that the company that's all about working remotely and having people join a conversation from anywhere said everybody must be in the office. I also wanted to talk about their terms and conditions, which people noticed changed. And some of us can't help but think, sorry about my cursor, that perhaps these changed because they're hoping you were paying attention to the return to office announcement. But luckily, some people caught it and we're talking about it. And of course, thanks as always to our Patreons who help support this channel. You can join Patreon as well if you'd like early access and extra perks. So let's take a look at these Zoom terms and conditions. And again, I'm not a lawyer, but I absolutely welcome your questions and comments if you are watching live. And of course, if you're not, please leave a comment under the video. So we should be looking at my screen, okay? And I've got the chat room and hello, Prabir. And so this is what they say, at least as of today. Today is the 8th of August, 2023. Zoom has been making changes, which is a good reminder of how fast a company can make changes to their terms and not even tell you. I don't think any of us got an email saying, by the way, we changed these terms and you might want to check them out. I did get such an email yesterday from 2 different companies saying, hey, we changed our terms, check them out, but not Zoom. So I really want to read 10.4, and we're going to read it in slow motion and put on our critical thinking hats. Good morning, Singapore. So it says 10.4, which is hilarious because 10.4 is old CB radio talk for like message received, message understood, and I think we all got the message on this one. So it says, you agree to grant and hereby grant Zoom a perpetual, worldwide, non-exclusive, royalty-free, sub-licensable, and transferable license and all other rights required or necessary to redistribute, publish, import, access, use, store, transmit, review, disclose, preserve, extract, modify, reproduce, share, use, display, copy, I'm not done, distribute, translate, transcribe, create derivative works, and process customer content, and to perform all acts with respect to the customer content, 1, as it may be necessary for Zoom to provide their services to you, 2, or in support of the services, 2, for the purpose of product and service development, marketing, analytics, quality assurance, machine learning, artificial intelligence, training, testing, improvement of the services, software, or Zoom's other products, services, and software, or any combination thereof, and 3, for any other purpose relating to any use or other act permitted in accordance with Section 10.3, if you have any proprietary rights in or to service-generated data or aggregated anonymous data, you hereby grant Zoom a perpetual, irrevocable, worldwide, non-exclusive, royalty-free, sub-licensable, and transferable license, and all other rights required or necessary to enable Zoom to exercise its rights pertaining to service-generated data and aggregated anonymous data, as the case may be, in accordance with this agreement. So obviously, this is not written for the average person to easily understand this and feel good about it. It's written by lawyers to allow the company what they want to do now and probably some things they want to do in the future. Because Zoom ended up putting out a blog post saying, well, our intent is really to do this. And I say, congratulations on your cool blog post. I go by what the terms and conditions say. And we have a couple of words that we need to understand. They're creating their own definitions. Their definitions are customer content, service generated data, and aggregated anonymous data. And you know that they're internal words because they've got initial capital letters, and somewhere in this document they're going to be defined. So what is customer content? Let's take a look. Customer content. Let's see if we can find the earliest use of customer content. And okay, so this is the first use of customer content, just mentions it, customer content. Second, customer content. Okay, 10, customer content. So what is customer content? You or your end users, so you or the people in your Zoom meetings, webinars, etc., may provide, upload, or originate data, content, files, documents, or other materials. In accessing or using the services and software, and Zoom may provide, create, or make available to you, blah, 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 derivatives, transcripts, analytics, outputs, visual displays, or data sets resulting from the customer input, provided that no customer content provided, created, or made available by Zoom results in any conveyance, assignment, or other transfer of Zoom's proprietary rights. They're worried about their own rights. They're not giving you their rights. So the way that I interpret this, and again, I'm not a lawyer, is customer content is anything you do on Zoom that can be uploaded. It could be data, it could be content, it could be files, documents, it could be conversations, and that they're giving you transcripts. So the transcripts are part of the service, but do they end up as customer content? Sure, maybe. Things that Zoom provides or makes available to you may include derivative, transcripts, analytics, outputs, visual displays, or data based on from what you put into the system. So Zoom may give you a transcript of your conversation. That's customer content made available to you by Zoom services. They're also using the word derivatives, which means they might give you a subset of what you put in. You put in an entire Zoom call, they're going to give you some sort of, I'm just guessing here, I'm just making this up, AI summary. That would be a derivative of the conversation that you had. It's not the complete conversation, it is a subset, and that is often how the word derivative is used. However, derivative can mean other things as well, and I believe that word is there on purpose. That is just my opinion. What do you make of the whole Zoom thing? People who are watching live, and put in the comments, again, what you think. So when I see, and let me take off this search, which is highlighting these things. When I see that Zoom has a perpetual worldwide non-exclusive royalty-free sub-licensable transferable license, what this essentially means, so this is language I've seen before. This is not uncommon language, and some people even pointed out on LinkedIn yesterday that this language sometimes appears in other companies' terms and conditions, and we don't care, and we click agree, and we go on. But Zoom is interesting because many of us are having highly confidential conversations. We're talking about our personal lives. We might be in therapy or telehealth sessions. We might be talking about proprietary things happening in our company, innovations we're working on. I might be teaching a webinar where I have my own proprietary methods that I wouldn't want someone else to claim that they now own or co-own. See where I'm going with this? So if you are granting Zoom let's just go with the word license, because that is the key word here in the sentence. The rest of it just says forever and ever and ever and ever, and we get to do whatever we want, license. The question is, what could Zoom do with that license? What they want to do with it, or what they claim they're going to do with it now, or what their intent is not necessarily what these terms allow them to do, because that means they could change their intent, they could change their plans without having to rewrite these terms or notify us, and they didn't even notify us of these changes. So this essentially says, with respect to the customer content, and to perform all acts with the customer content, I'm giving Zoom this license to access and use this customer content, which is my stuff, but I'm giving them a license to publish it, transmit it, modify it, distribute it. Did I say that already? Transmit it, translate it, transcribe it. Now we know Zoom offers translation services, but the way this is written, and again, I'm not a lawyer, the way this is written, hypothetically, I believe Zoom could take stuff it has from us, maybe a transcript, maybe a recording, and yes, can they rebroadcast it to our audience who signed up for that meeting or webinar? Yes, this certainly allows them to do that. Could they take that and make it public? I don't see anything blocking them necessarily. We would have to check what this says about privacy. If they're going to make now normally when I see this language, by the way, it comes from publishers. When I've written things for O'Reilly, there was language in there like this because O'Reilly wants the right to co-own your stuff so that they can distribute it and sell it and do whatever they want with it. This is the same language, though it's actually expanded. And so hypothetically, without trying to cross-reference this with other things going on in the terms and conditions, it kind of looks like Zoom could take a recording of my webinar and turn it into an online course, an ebook. There's someone in my community who signed a contract that looked kind of like this. They were going to write a series of articles for a company that was paying them, and it had this usual language in it about derivative works and distribution. And they found out later that the company took their articles, turned them into an ebook, which they can do. It's a derivative work. They put it on Amazon. They're selling it for money. And this person gets no money because they were already paid to write those articles. This is some of the funky stuff that can happen when you have broad language like this. We would have to take a look at how Zoom talks about your privacy or confidentiality of your stuff, because this clause alone makes it sound to me like they're going to co-own my stuff. And they can do pretty much whatever they want with it. But I think where people are really losing it is this stuff. That we can take whatever you've put into the Zoom system, recordings, conversations, transcripts, chats, files you've uploaded, documents, all the things that we said before were customer content, and we could use these to train machine learning, artificial intelligence, things like that. This is where we have a lot more questions than answers. Whose machine learning system is this? Is it Zoom's? Is it locked down? Is it hackable? Is it open to the public? Will things I say be given to other people as some sort of AI suggestion. For example, an online conference venue, a virtual conference venue I've been using that I'm getting away from, has this new tool. If you give us an idea for your event, our AI system will give you a cool name for your event. Where does the idea for my cool event go? Will other people see it? Will the AI feed it back to other people in any form? I don't know. And this isn't clear. And they claim that they're not going to do this without your consent. But don't the terms and conditions say you consent to this? This says I agree and grant this license to do these things. Technically, I've given my consent, right? That's what the terms and conditions are all about. They're all about capturing broad consent to a whole bunch of things you probably don't even know you agreed to. So this is where we need to be very careful. We don't know what this is being trained on. We don't know if we're having a conversation with a therapist, a lawyer, an ex-spouse, a medical professional. And we don't know how this information is being used to train artificial intelligence or populate machine learning databases. We don't know when this information is going to be popped up or served to other people, even if aggregated and your name isn't on it. So with some of those thoughts put out there, I'll just go back to a big screen of me and see what everybody is thinking and feeling. Let's see. I don't know if we have, I think we just have a few people watching live. I'll take a look. But if anybody has any thoughts or questions, again, I am not a lawyer. I can't necessarily tell you everything about what's going on with the law, but I think these are conversations worth having and questions worth asking. Let's see, we've got just a few live viewers. I know it's a pretty strange time right now. It's early for Europe. America is sleeping, but people can watch this later and put some of their thoughts and comments under the video. But I will say, at least for me personally, and this is my choice, and you don't have to make the same choice. Oh, we've got something coming in. I'm joining late. I'll rewatch later. I'm shocked at these terms and conditions, especially since I'm paying a fortune for the service. So much for digital safety and owning digital content. Hi, Robert. How are you and your company's doing? Yes, let's go back to LinkedIn. That was, let's see. Oh, let me refresh it. It's not giving me everybody's names. Oh, Hella. Good morning, Hella. Yeah, it didn't put your name up, as you can see. Yeah, definitely concerning. And what I have elected to do at this time, though, you know, things can change, I had just signed back up for Zoom so that we can do our webinars. Everybody, our free webinar series, please join. It will not be on Zoom. I'm in the process of setting up something else, and I have exported all of the existing registrations from Zoom. So if you did already sign up for those webinars, which are all completely free, you will not get lost in the shuffle. You will be invited to wherever they're held next. And I've also set up adevent.com, which is definitely not sponsored because I only half like it. It's a little funky, but it kind of acts as an online calendar where people can RSVP to individual events or add the whole thing, add the whole calendar to their calendar. So between these two, what that allows me to do is if you RSVP to the add event as kind of a middle piece, then I can just go in later and say, oh, by the way, here's where this is going to be held. I can also email everybody who RSVP'd. So it's really important to RSVP for our webinars so that I have the opportunity to let you know where they're being held. You're not being put on a mailing list. You're not in a database. I'm not going to bug you. I'm just going to make sure you can get to the webinars. I checked yesterday the terms and conditions for Google Meet. I think Google Meet's video quality was not as good as Zoom's, so I was going back to Zoom as recent as a week ago. But I think Google Meet's privacy and terms are much clearer and more locked down. I also went into a support chat with Google Meet yesterday to ask them more about this, and they basically made it sound like, and I'm paraphrasing, and again, this is August 3rd, 2023, so this could be, different somewhere else. In fact, I should probably put the date on the screen. They made it sound like they pretty much do nearly HIPAA-style compliance for everything. So they said everything is locked down, everything is yours, everything is encrypted. We don't claim to own your stuff or use your stuff. We know Google has lots of data on us and they're using that to train AI, but it sounds like they're not including Meet calls and conversations because Meet is the core for a lot of corporate work and activity. And I don't think Google wants to run the risk of doing something like Zoom just did, where they go, hey, we know you're having these really important private conversations in Google Meet, but yeah, we're just gonna be stripping them for whatever we want. So I will probably go with Google Meet. Some people had suggested whereby.com because being a Norwegian company, they would be subject to EU laws, which are certainly stricter than America-based companies. But I found that for their recording, you had to use a Google Chrome extension, and I didn't know what the quality of that would be. So I think for a larger feature set where at least Google Meet at the level at which I have it, which is business standard Google Workspace. So I am paying $12, I think, per person per month for my subscription. I already have this paid version, and that means that I would be able to record. We can do breakout rooms, we can have reactions, we can have chat, and I have some host controls over things. So I would probably say, since I'm already paying for Google Meet and since they seem to have a fairly strict privacy policy, that's where I will go. There are certainly many options out there. There are, and again, not sponsored. I'm just going to name companies. There's Blue Jeans, which I didn't want to use many years ago because it looked like they were connected in some way to Facebook. I was never able to prove that, but it just made me nervous because I don't trust Meta even less. I trust Meta less than I trust Zoom. There's also GoToMeeting, GoToWebinar, everything from the Citrix universe. We've got a message coming in. WebEx is quite good too. Recordings and breakout rooms are easy. Yeah, WebEx used to be, in my opinion, really clunky and cumbersome and my least favorite to use. And hopefully over time they've made that better. I think Adobe has some sort of offering, though I think I've only used it once. I don't really remember. There's definitely no shortage of video call and webinar systems out there. There's got to be dozens, if not hundreds. And you can even build your own with some APIs. But I think it's the main takeaway from this Zoom thing is we should be reading these terms and conditions. We should ask questions. We should ask what they mean. We should talk to lawyers. And we should make company decisions, especially if we're concerned about what do these mean for our use of this company's products or services. I think many companies do have sneaky, possibly unethical things in their terms and conditions, and we've all just put up with that. We've all clicked agree for decades. I think we need to have more conversations about ethics and about what these things truly mean. Robert, it's a little much to type all my thoughts in a quick comment, but my company offers it. Yeah, so I knew Robert also has an offering, not sponsored. I think I met Robert at a conference many years ago, so I was familiar with his offering. It's called Digital Samba, and it's in the EU. We are data agnostic. We don't track you. When it comes to AI, we take a responsible approach. Models we use for voice transcription just do their job and are not trained on your data. Thank you, Robert. I haven't looked into your solution for quite a while. I'm doing a lot of webinars, so I really like that interactive element with breakout rooms and people who can throw emojis on the screen and interact. So I don't know what yours does, but good to see you here and happy you are still going. God, did I meet you in 2018 in Barcelona? That's what I think. That's just my guess. I don't write these things down. So yeah, I think that it's important, and what Robert says is important. We whether or not Digital Samba is the right tool for us, we should be working with companies that take the approach that Robert's taking, who are not using your data to train a model on what you said. So I think it's going to be increasingly important, especially as we hear stories about, I think by now everyone's heard about the Samsung worker or staffer who put something into AI and now it was in the system and it was proprietary and secret and so on. So these are definitely more conversations that we need to have. We met in Vienna. Vienna, we are developers. Also 2018. Yes, you were doing something slightly else. I do remember that, but we've stayed connected, and that's been a lovely thing. Vienna. Yeah, we did so many conferences in 2018, they've blurred together. Schweitzer says, it's super early. Yes, I started this at 7:45 in the morning. I tend to wake up 6:30 or 7, so I'm still a little puffy-eyed, but just woke up, still yesterday's shirt. Apologize for that. Will remedy. But yeah, so but ultimately it's time to wind down. We've been talking for a while. This is breaking news. If you are not familiar with what's going on with Zoom, definitely look more into it. They did put out a blog post which seemed to kind of try to smooth this over, but I don't go by the blog post that says, oh yeah, it says this, but here's what it really means, or it says this, but here's what we want to do with that right now. This is our intention. I think we know that companies' plans and intentions can change, and I'm more concerned about what the Zoom terms say they can do than what they're doing right now, because what they're doing right now might change. And I don't think I want them to have access to my stuff. I don't want to give them the right to co-own my stuff. I don't want them to be training AI on my stuff. It's scary enough that AI is probably already being trained on my stuff, and eventually my stuff will be your generic answer from ChatGPT, and you won't know it was my stuff. So lots of problems and questions there that we can't all cover today. So thanks to everybody who tuned into the breaking news. This will be archived on the Customer Experience Customer Centricity YouTube channel, CX-CC. Give us a subscribe there, some thumbs up, ring that bell. And we'll be back much later today for my Q&A AMA Ask Us Anything session with Dr. Nick. That is at 3 p.m. Italy time, 2 p.m. London time. We'll be back live right here and on LinkedIn as well. So I am just going to wrap up, and thanks again for people interested in the Zoom breaking news. See you later.